Saskatchewan slammed with a winter storm. A look at the blizzard-like blast that hammered the province. Saskatoon's oldest municipal golf course under the microscope. Why Wildwood may not be going anywhere after all. And a reno and revitalization. The Saskatoon landmark about to get a new look.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a storm sweeping Saskatchewan. The snow started just before noon, and with the wind picking up, it made for poor visibility throughout the day. We sent Jeff to check on things tonight. And Jeff, it's still quite blustery this evening?
It certainly is, Chantel. We've got ourselves, it's been an ugly day. You talked about you mentioned how the snow started really showing up in the early before noon, but really in the early afternoon once the wind started picking up, it made things quite dangerous. In and around Saskatoon, travel not recommended. I mean, all the way to Humboldt, to the east and down south to Davidson. Travel not recommended all around Saskatoon. In fact, throughout the province, many areas are under those warnings from the highway hotline. Melfort down to Regina, for the most part, travel not recommended. And Regina, they've had some ugly conditions today, mostly dealing with freezing rain, some ice pellets. It has since changed to snow and blowing snow. And yes, very strong winds in the southern part of the province. We had in East End sustained winds of 90 kilometers an hour and into the high 90s in terms of gusts. So it's been a very windy day across the province. And this storm has a huge wingspan extending from Alberta to northern Ontario and into the northern Plains states and Montana. So it is widespread, it is potent, and in terms of accumulation, it's tough to tell because of all the drifting, but my best guess is that over 5 centimeters so far, maybe up to 8 centimeters, and of course, we have more snow to come, and this doesn't look like it'll be winding down until after midnight.
All right, thanks, Jeff. We'll get you back inside to warm up. The storm having an impact on travel tonight. Hallie Mandrick now on the plans that have been interrupted.
For those arriving at the Saskatoon airport, they've received a not-so-warm welcome home.
I came from Halifax, and there's maybe a centimeter of snow, if that, so it's different. She's not going to like it, that's for sure.
Arriving just in time for what Environment Canada is calling Saskatchewan's biggest snowstorm of the year. Blake Fino drove in from Melfort to meet his daughter at the gate.
My daughter's plane got canceled in Halifax, so then they had to replane her for an earlier one to try to beat the storm. So they did, and then that was delayed another hour. So, yeah, it's been a long morning.
A busy day with a lot of uncertainty.
I wasn't expecting to land here today because, like I said, on the forecast it was windy and it was gusting, but the plane, the pilots did a good job and they landed me. So I'm getting to work now, so I'm happy about it.
While those who recently arrived are thankful to be home, many other travelers haven't been so lucky.
We've had quite a few preemptive cancellations, I would say. That's airlines that start to make those cancellation decisions actually ahead of the weather events, who help kind of protect their network so that they can start rebooking people in a timely fashion. So we've had about 6 or 7 inbound cancellations and about 7 outbound cancellations today.
The poor conditions aren't just affecting air travel. RCMP say the weather is keeping officers busy.
We can't reiterate enough. If you don't have to be out on their roads tonight, please don't be, if you're in an area that's affected by the weather. And lastly, always check the highway hotline before you set out today and any day this winter.
For those leaving the airport, the goal is to get home as quickly and safely as possible.
We were a little worried we wouldn't get home for Christmas, but we managed to get here all in one piece. Now just to actually get home on the roads, so it'll be interesting.
Just want to get home as soon as I can to get out of this weather.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
And as Jeff mentioned, travel was not recommended on a number of highways in central and southern Saskatchewan today. The highway hotline shared this image showing a semi in the ditch in southern Saskatchewan with an ambulance on scene, noting Highway 1 was closed for part of the day. Right now, the highways around Saskatoon in all directions are reported to be covered in snow and ice, including Highway 12 toward Martinsville, Highway 11 toward Warman, and Highway 11 toward Dundurn, with travel advisories in effect. And because of this intense snowstorm, many schools and services across the province closed for the day. All Prairie Spirit schools were closed, while classes were dismissed at noon for schools in the Horizon School Division. Both Regina Public Schools and Catholic schools canceled extracurricular activities for the evening, including band and Christmas concerts. The city of Moose Jaw canceled its transit service, and the Saskatoon City landfill was closed due to weather. The Saskatoon Food Bank also closed for the day.
The decision really was, kind of based on what the forecast was, and, perhaps the city was saying that fewer people on the roads would be a good idea. So ultimately came to the decision that we would just close for the day.
The city of Saskatoon has activated its winter emergency response plan until Monday due to the cold and snow. The city launched level 2 of its strategy with designated warming locations in the daytime, in the evening, and overnight for anyone needing assistance. These 7 facilities are open as early as 8 o'clock each morning. In the evening, EGADS is open for youth 12 to 19 years old, the STC Bus Depot for women 18 and over, and at St. Mary's Church for men over 18. The Bus Depot, St. Mary's Church, and White Buffalo Youth Lodge all operate overnight services as well. The Safe Bus program allows residents to safely flag down a bus and have transit operators contact emergency services, giving the person a safe place to wait. Saskatoon police are asking for help in finding a 77-year-old man last seen yesterday leaving a local hospital. They've released these images of Michael Graham. Graham was wearing a red jacket and yellow hospital pajamas when he was leaving City Hospital at about 2:45 yesterday afternoon. He was walking toward Queen Street at the time. Police say he has difficulty walking and was in a vulnerable state. Anyone who has seen Michael Graham or knows where he is should contact police immediately. A combination of the flu and the snowstorm making its way through Saskatchewan has forced the postponement of 4 SJHL games.
With travel not recommended around pretty much the entire province, Melville at Melfort has been canceled, and so is Kindersley at Warman. So no games today.
Yesterday, the Humboldt Broncos posted on social media that their Tuesday night game against the Battleford's North Stars would be canceled due to an influenza outbreak. Today, the SJHL announced all games would be postponed due to the winter storm making road travel unsafe. Larange was scheduled to play in Nipawin, Kindersley was set to play in Warman, and Melville was headed to Melfort tonight. The Larange-Nipawin matchup was already rescheduled from last week due to an ice plant issue in Larange, and a flu outbreak on the Hawks team meant that game would already be postponed. The NDP is raising concern over wait times and hospital bed shortages at hospitals in Saskatoon, Regina, and Prince Albert. The NDP obtained an internal report from the Saskatchewan Health Authority detailing safety levels at hospitals across the province in recent days. The report considers Prince Albert's Victoria Hospital, RUH, St. Paul's Hospital, and Regina General Hospital at a very high safety risk for overcapacity. The report notes Saskatoon City Hospital was short 10 medical beds, while Victoria Hospital was short 12. The NDP also raised concern about high wait times ranging from 41 hours at Victoria Hospital to 91 hours at Regina General Hospital.
There are many things that go into a picture such as this. I mean, this is very bleak, but it's not an overnight fix, that's for sure.
The SHA says internal documents used by health system experts should be interpreted with caution when viewed outside their intended context. It also says the wait times refer to the total time from patient registration to discharge from the emergency department, not the time it takes to see a doctor. The SHA adds hospitals across the province regularly adjust to fluctuating patient volumes, and that a scoring system is used to assess risk levels and guide response at different thresholds. Last week, an online video of a man outside in a vulnerable state caught the attention of Prince Albert community members, sparking concern from organizations like the Prince Albert Grand Council, which is now calling for a review of the incident. Jasmine Pelche has more.
The Prince Albert Grand Council is calling for answers after a video circulated online of a man in a vulnerable state lying outside in the snow.
People putting this stuff in social media and into our attention so we can advocate for our vulnerable people and our homeless people and our people that's seeking medical attention and services in the hospital.
The video was posted on Facebook and shows security officers tending to an individual in the snow. CTV reached out to the Facebook account that posted the video to confirm who shot the footage but did not hear back. Police did, however, validate the video. Prince Albert police say shortly before 11 o'clock on December 11th, officers were called to the 2300 block of 10th Avenue West and found an intoxicated man lying in the snow. The police service says it ensured he received medical evaluation. Police say he had been evicted from a property before police got there. Grand Chief Brian Hardlot says the man had been kicked out of Victoria Hospital by security. He wants the Saskatchewan Health Authority to assess the actions of security staff during the incident.
That shouldn't happen in this day and age, especially in the hospital setting. So concerning, we're going to ask for changes and I'm hoping that the Saskatchewan Health Authority works with us on this one.
The SHA says it has met with the Grand Council, continues to collaborate with police, and is completing an internal review. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Saskatoon City Council is taking a swing at potentially relocating one of the city's oldest golf courses. Keenan Sorokon has more on the concern from residents about the sudden decision.
My email and phone number lit up like a Christmas tree.
City councillors received quite the shock when hundreds of phone calls and messages came pouring in about the potential relocation of 94-year-old Wildwood Golf Course. A motion from Councillor Zach Jeffries looking at developing the area and moving the course elsewhere narrowly passed 6-5 at Wednesday's council meeting.
There's no guarantee redevelopment here would deliver affordability or density at a scale that justifies the disruption and loss of an existing civic asset.
Jeffrey started the discussion by apologizing to council, saying a notice of motion posted on the city's website lacked clarification. He doesn't want to pitch the course into the rough. He says a new course would have to be as good or better, would open before the current course closed, and could keep things like cross-country skiing in the winter.
If we can't make things better, and we're not going to get win-wins, and we're not going to improve facilities, and the finances don't work, then we just stop.
Bob Lee, who has been hitting fairways at Wildwood the last 20 years, isn't concerned about losing the course.
I can't ever see it happening. There were some councillors today that were sort of vehemently against even studying the report.
Administration wouldn't provide a cost estimate to build a new course elsewhere, but Lee feels the millions of dollars necessary will nix any potential impact. Any relocation is 10 to 15 years away if council decides to proceed, with an initial feasibility report on its way.
Making changes to that is going to change the entire character of what we're doing there. And I'm not sure that's a legacy we want to create.
This isn't the first time the city has floated relocation, with the idea being defeated in two separate votes in 1976 and 1980. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatoon's most recognizable landmark is preparing for a major transformation just as it marks its historic milestone. It has been 90 years since the Bessborough Hotel first opened its doors, and now the iconic castle on the river is entering a bold new chapter. Carla Schenkrick has the story.
You can see these hand carvings. This doesn't exist anymore.
It's history like this 90-year-old hand-carved couch that makes renovating a hotel like the Bessborough so important.
Yes, it is important, a pillar to the community.
Built in 1935, the Bessborough has stood as a symbol of history for nearly a century, and parts of the hotel reflect that.
Unique in Canada for this building is that we heat up this building in the winter with steam boilers.
Those boilers will be replaced along with all the guest rooms.
Renovation with 225 rooms and public spaces that includes lobby and meeting rooms and launching of a 3-meal restaurant called Grand Junction.
The renovation and rebranding to a Marriott Bonvoy's autograph collection will include various elements which pay homage to the Canadian National Railway as the original owners of the hotel. So one of the iconic elements that will remain after the renovation is having the Canada Post mailbox. The mail is still picked up every day. One of the biggest changes will be moving the main restaurant to the ground floor. That means the pool will be taken out to make way for dining that overlooks the patio and Bez Gardens.
So our goal going into this renovation is to actually preserve some of the unique elements about the Bessborough.
For this manager who's been with the company nationwide for over 20 years, the Bez holds special significance, playing host to an impressive number of famous people, VIPs, and heads of government.
In my past 4 years here, I've seen more dignitaries in my life than in this past 22 years with the company.
Renovation work will begin in mid-January and remain open to guests until May of next year. Then it will be closed until September 2026. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
From a cowgirl to a pilot to an astronaut, Barbie has worn many outfits during her 65 years of production. Now, a Saskatchewan resident has added their own touch, fitting the fashion icon with a traditional ribbon skirt. Mick Fable reports.
Tyla Gerald just got a version of Barbie not found in any stores. It's fitted with a ribbon skirt, a traditional Indigenous garment similar to the one Gerald is wearing. The new addition is unlike anything in her collection.
Happy.
Yeah.
Excited.
It was nice to have it, right? Crystal Pelche remembers her days as a child and her times with Barbie. She recalls not having any dolls which directly reflected who she was as an Indigenous person. She is happy her daughter gets to have a different experience, with Indigenous culture now being better represented.
It's nice. It's like, I wish it was done a long time ago, but, it's nice that they can see this stuff, learn this stuff, know this stuff, be able to wear the items to school, to daycare, to wherever.
Earlier this month, the North Central Family Center received 10 of the Indigenized Barbie dolls. Although the person prefers to remain anonymous, they did share the reasoning behind the creations. The maker creates the dolls in honor of their niece, who died at the age of 5, as well as for Isabella Kulak, who was shamed for wearing a ribbon skirt in 2020. The unique dolls are in high demand at the center.
It's something that you normally don't see, and to have a little, something that you can as well look like in a nice ribbon dress. Unfortunately, we don't have so many of them, but I hope there's more to come in the future.
Right now, doll accessories like these cannot be found in stores, but there is a growing demand which some of the major brand names may want to take a note of.
More of this stuff for the, Barbies, dolls, I think is important. It'd be nice more of that kind of stuff for the dolls.
Proving that Barbie can really be anything. Mick Fable, CTV News, Regina.
And just a quick programming note to tell you about. CTV News at 6 will air an abbreviated newscast at 5 p.m. tomorrow as CTV presents NFL Thursday Night Football. So that means we will be on an hour earlier at 5 p.m. instead of 6. Still to come, renewed concern over the flu season across the country. Also, the skating standoff brewing in Alberta. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Flu cases are rising across the country, and experts say the peak is still a ways off. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more on what doctors are expecting.
The flu hits every year, but the strain of influenza A circulating now is hitting harder and faster than ever.
Well, it causes a severe pneumonia that can cause the lungs to break down. There can be a secondary bacterial infection. There can be widespread infection known as sepsis.
Doctors say severe complications are rare, but nationally, flu-related hospitalizations are increasing, especially in kids 4 or younger and among those over 65. In Ontario alone, new ICU admissions are up 127%, with confirmed flu cases up by 150%. In Nova Scotia, like elsewhere, doctors are preparing for a surge in cases, especially among kids around the holidays.
We tend to underappreciate the need for vaccination, and I certainly know in Nova Scotia, our uptake of vaccine in infants and young children is far from where ideally we'd like to have it.
Whatever protection you can get, it does make a difference.
difference.
Jill Promoli knows firsthand how devastating the flu can be. Her son Jude was a healthy 2-year-old when he got influenza B and died.
Even when we lost Jude, it was a shock to us that we had lost him to something like the flu.
She's now spent nearly 10 years encouraging people to take the flu seriously and encouraging them to get vaccinated.
It can be faster than we realize, and it can be more serious than we realize, and sometimes there just is no time to act. So the more steps that you can take to prevent getting the flu into your home in the first place, the better.
Doctors say the influenza outbreaks are starting earlier than usual, and they're encouraging everyone to get vaccinated. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Most Canadians are still confident in the flu vaccine, according to a new survey, but vaccine hesitancy has grown since the pandemic, and so has concern that this year's vaccine doesn't match the strength of the current flu strain. Adrian Gobriel now on what health professionals have to say.
Cases of the flu are rising across the country, along with vaccine skepticism.
Since COVID, there's been a lot more vaccine hesitancy.
A new Leger healthcare poll has found that 74% of Canadians have faith in vaccines, while the majority say their confidence has remained unchanged. 26% have lost confidence. The report says that healthcare providers have identified misinformation as one of the key drivers of vaccine hesitancy.
We have work to do. The politicization of vaccines has caused an enormous amount of damage. You're seeing the worst examples of that now in the United States.
In September, a newly appointed federal advisory panel stateside installed by U.S. Secretary of Health Robert F. Kennedy Jr. passed a vote recommending that children under 4 no longer receive an all-in-one vaccine for measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox. North of the border, some doctors believe we're seeing the erosion of hard-fought public health gains.
A lot of CDC has been dismantled, and you have people who are in charge of vaccination programs that are anti-vaxxers.
The efficacy of this year's flu shot is still being determined.
The circulating strain right now is mostly influenza A, H3N2, and it's a little bit mismatched from what's in the vaccine.
Though doctors we spoke with say the vaccine still provides vital coverage.
Will the seatbelt guarantee to save your life? No. Will it reduce the chance that you get a really bad traumatic injury or die? Yes. Vaccines are the same way.
Healthcare professionals are urging Canadians to get out and get their flu shot, with many predicting the worst of this influenza season is still on the horizon. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Alberta's Premier Danielle Smith calls Skate Canada's declaration of her province as a no-go zone disgraceful. Skate Canada says the province's recent controversial law prohibiting transgender athletes from participating in female-only sports doesn't meet its own standards. And the standoff over the issue is raising questions beyond skating. CTV's Rachel Aiello has that story.
They get 2 here in 10 to win.
Curling Canada says it has no plans to move its upcoming events out of Alberta in light of the province's restrictions on transgender athletes. The World Women's Curling Championship is being held in Calgary in March. And in a statement to CTV News, the national governing body for the sport says the consequences of pulling out would have a significant financial impact on Curling Alberta, and that the organization continues to support the rights of all athletes to participate in the sport in the manner in which they choose.
Loose in front, good stop, rebound, score!
Hockey Canada also tells us it has no plans to adjust its event schedule at this time.
Canada.
After Skate Canada announced its boycott, citing Alberta's ban on trans athletes participating in female amateur sports, Premier Danielle Smith demanded an apology, while LGBTQ2S+ advocates celebrated the decision.
If reason and the will of the voters is not being, utilized by our government, then it's going to have to be our dollars and our events that are communicating to them what is right.
Canada's Secretary of State for Sport says while these organizations make decisions independently based on evidence and athletes' rights, the federal government believes in a sport system that provides opportunities for all Canadians to participate and excel without discrimination. We reached out to several other winter sporting organizations to see if they plan to change their policies, but have yet to hear back. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Nick Reiner appeared in court today for the first time since being charged in the deaths of his parents. Reiner did not enter a plea as he appeared from behind glass in the custody area. He did not enter a plea during the arraignment that was postponed until January 7th at the request of his lawyer. Reiner is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He is accused of killing Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner on Sunday. In Australia, funerals were held today for some of the victims of Sunday's massacre at Bondi Beach. 15 people were killed when 2 gunmen opened fire at a Hanukkah celebration. Authorities believe it was a terrorist attack inspired by Islamic State. There was a memorial in Sydney today for the victims. Mourners lit a menorah and sang. One of the alleged shooters has been charged with 59 offenses, including 15 charges of murder. The other suspect was his father, who died at the scene. Both were shot by police. Canada's population declined for the first time in history this year, if you exclude the recent COVID-19 pandemic, a decline due to changes in immigration policy. It's a big adjustment and one that will have a direct impact on our country's economic future. Here is Heather Wright.
The federal government promised to, quote, get immigration under control, and preliminary numbers from Statistics Canada suggest efforts to curb the number of immigrants are working. Between July 1st and October 1st of this year, Canada's population decreased by about 76,000 people, mainly due to a reduction in the number of non-permanent residents. Stats Can attributes the decrease to record high outflows, with about 74,000 people with a study permit leaving the country.
We needed to bring our immigration level to a more sustainable level, and at the same time, we've doubled down in Budget 2025 to attract the best and brightest in our country.
This decrease follows record rates of population growth between 2022 and 2023, an immigration policy aimed at part in helping companies fill thousands of empty jobs following the COVID-19 pandemic. But the increase also exacerbated existing challenges with housing and health care.
One of the things that it doesn't seem to be any huge consensus on is what our perfect immigration levels should be. Exactly.
Michael Hahn is a professor and demographer at Western University and says a shrinking population can have positive impacts, such as driving down housing prices. But he warns there can be negative impacts too, especially when the changes happen so quickly.
You know, wide open, wide shut. Those are the ones that hurt the most. Those are the ones that, universities, colleges, builders, they're not prepared for these abrupt changes because population change, I think optimal population change happens slowly rather than quickly.
More changes to immigration levels are coming, with the federal Liberals vowing to further reduce the number of temporary residents over the next 2 years. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Hello, Jimmy here from Wide Open Children's Puppet Theater. You can catch me and my friends performing our Christmas show from December 19th to December 24th. Wow, my weatherometer sure is going off the charts. Tell me more, Jeffrey.
The weathermometer. I tell you, I gotta get one of those machines. But we can tell you that, yes, Jimmy, we have some snowy conditions that are going to be abating in the overnight period. But let's move to Friday, which is opening day for that particular show from Wide Open Children's Theater. And you can tell us, we can tell you that temperatures that day will be around -9 in the afternoon. Your show is at 11 a.m. Your first show there is happening at 11 a.m. So probably around -12 degrees. But -9 is a seasonal temperature, so a seasonal day in store with some light snow. Once again, wideopen.ca to get your tickets for that. And there are more shows as we head towards Christmas Day. Now, let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our current temperatures. And it's still cold and it's still windy. Look at this, sustained winds of 50 kilometers an hour. So it's some very strong winds. It's been that way, as I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast. From earlier in the day, we were already in the 40s, and then with about the last 3 hours in the 50s as well. -17 degrees in Saskatoon, -19 in Prince Albert. Still a fairly strong wind there. Winds started to back off in the Battlefords, -16 degrees. The blizzard warning for the Battlefords has been lifted by Environment Canada. Now, on to our almanac just for fun. -14 for a high, -10 is typical. 7 is the record warm temperature on this date. That's from 1893. The record cold temperature from 1924. That was -39. And the sun went down at 4:55.
Coming up, a roadside tradition in Edmonton. Why a giant ornament has special meaning at this time of year.
All right, well, the camera obscura, as they used to say in the olden days, there's College Drive, but if I step over here, yeah, there's just nothing but ice on the lens of Skycam. So here's our little window in Skycam. Okay, so that's how things are shaping up. Let's go to the satellite and radar shot here. A little wider. So I mentioned this earlier on the start of the broadcast. A really wide wingspan on this storm, all the way from Alberta into northern Ontario, and actually it's going to continue to make its way and impact other parts of our country as we make our way into the next couple of days. And it extends down into the USA, where it's mostly a rain event, but we certainly have the snow and freezing rain in Saskatchewan and Alberta and Manitoba. So it's been a messy situation. I'm going to step out of the way here and we'll take a look at the numbers quickly again, just to let you know that it's still minus 18 in Saskatoon, minus 19 in Prince Albert, minus 16 in the Battlefords, and quite windy in both Prince Albert and Saskatoon. The hot spot in the province, that was 9 degrees in Maple Creek, and the cold spot, oh, cold, minus 44. All right. As we take a look around the province, we've got ourselves minus 18 in Lloydminster, minus 12 in Swift Current, minus 10 in Regina, minus 15 in Yorkton. But look at this, 0 degrees right now in Estevan, but they are dealing with some rainy conditions down there and windy conditions, by the way. Minus 20 in Meadow Lake, minus 16 in Kindersley and Rosetown and the Battlefords, minus 19 in Hudson Bay, minus 15 in Wynyard, and into the minus 20s in Waskesiu, Nipawin, and Melfort, minus 14 right now in Watrous. Up north, a very cold minus 38 in Stony Rapids, minus 32 in Key Lake, minus 24 in Buffalo Narrows, minus 25 in La Ronge. And down into southern Saskatchewan, we do have some plus temperatures. Assiniboia and Coronach on the plus side, 0 in Weyburn and Carlisle. Then bam, temperatures drop right off, basically into the in and around minus 14 degrees for most locations, minus 11 in Broadview. On to our futurecast. Well, you can see the bullseye of that system making its way into the Great Lakes region and dragging with it all that snow and rain-snow mix and freezing rain. What a mess. And ultimately, we will see another system come through, but we get a bit of a break. That's going to be showing up on Friday, and we don't anticipate anything like what we had today. So a mix of sky conditions for northern Saskatchewan with temperatures in the low to high minus 20s. Into west central Saskatchewan, minus 18 in Meadow Lake and Rosetown, minus 14 in Kindersley, minus 20 tomorrow, and mainly cloudy skies prevail in that part of the province. A windy day in Swift Current at minus 8 degrees. It's also minus 8 for Leader, minus 2 in Maple Creek, minus 17 in Outlook. Temperatures in the high minus teens, low minus 20s for southeastern Saskatchewan, with a mix of sky conditions, but generally mainly cloudy. And mainly cloudy skies prevail in east central Saskatchewan with temperatures of minus 22 or 23 in these communities highlighted. 2 to 4 centimeters of additional snow tonight, a risk of frostbite. Mainly cloudy skies and still a risk of frostbite tomorrow with a high of just minus 21. A warmer day, but still below seasonal, but a very good chance of some flurries maybe overnight Thursday into Friday. Could see up to around 5 centimeters of snow, and then staying cold right through to Wednesday. Prince Albert's overnight temperature dropping down to minus 27, minus 22 for a high tomorrow. That risk of frostbite is certainly there. And then we have a chance of some almost a certainty of snow on Friday, minus 16 degrees, minus 18 on Saturday, minus 22 on Sunday, and not much improvement in temperatures starting on Monday. Monday, a chance of some flurries. And Saskatoon dropping down to minus 27 degrees, maybe another 5 centimeters of snow as the snow tapers off. A risk of frostbite on Thursday, minus 21 degrees. A seasonal Friday in store with a 70% chance of flurries, maybe up to 5 centimeters of snow. It should start Thursday night into Friday. And then a cold weekend in store, not much improvement on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. A chance of some flurries on Monday. A former doctor who admitted to selling ketamine to Matthew Perry has avoided prison time. Mark Chavez was given 8 months of home detention and 3 years of supervised release. He is one of 5 people who have pleaded guilty in connection to the Perry's 2023 overdose death. Chavez gave up his medical license as part of his plea deal. Warner Brothers is telling its shareholders to reject a takeover bid from Paramount Sundance. In a letter to shareholders, the Warner Brothers Discovery Board urged shareholders to reject Paramount's, quote, unsolicited, inferior, and illusory tender offer, end quote. The board is instead advising that a rival bid from Netflix will be better for customers. It's now up to the shareholders to decide on Paramount's bid to take over the entire company. The Netflix offer does not include Warner's cable operations.
Canada's Master Chef is... Veronica.
Well, there you have it. Canada has a new Master Chef. Veronica Wu, a data manager from Toronto, is the champion of Season 8 of Master Chef Canada, impressing the judges by taking risks and delivering on flavor, serving up a dream 3-course meal in just 3 hours.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day. What did you pick for today?
Well, we've got some things that are storm-related. We're going to start off with this picture here. That's right. This comes to us from Wendy. Pixel, watching the storm blow in. She doesn't seem impressed. LOL. I can understand why she doesn't seem impressed. So she's got Pixel has the right idea. That's for sure. Just watch from the window. That's good. The next one comes from Lyle Karashuk, our pal up there at Parkland Ambulance in Prince Albert. And he tells us, with the holidays approaching, our Christmas cactus are in full bloom. Those look lovely. And 2 colors there going on there. We got the coral and the pink. And finally from Gwen, as you're aware, it was really, really cold on the weekend. Wheaton, our large orange cat, made sure to stay warm. There's a good strategy. Just cover up there. So thank you, Gwen, for sharing that image. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. And please put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, a treat tradition that turns heads. We meet the man behind this giant red ball. A basic yet eye-catching Christmas display has been set up in Edmonton. One large red ornament hanging from a roadside tree. As CTV's Matt Woodman explains, it's a nod to a classic Christmas movie and a tribute to a family.
When it comes to Christmas decorating, over-the-top displays like Clark Griswold's usually get all the accolades. For the past 2 years, though, this simple yet significant ornament hanging from a tree on 58th Street is getting some attention of its own.
I like that it's quite festive. It definitely brings a sense of cheer to the neighborhood. I don't know who puts it up at all. It just shows up.
You know, everybody seems to love it.
Sean Kearns is the one who hangs the solo sphere.
I like to put it up at night so it's a surprise in the morning when people see it.
He does it in late November before his parents visit from Nova Scotia.
And I always like to put it up so Mom can see it. Growing up, my mom's favorite Christmas holiday movie was Charlie Brown Christmas.
Kearns says this tree has the perfect lean to replicate one of the movie's most iconic scenes.
I've killed it.
I didn't pull it down or anything. This is normally what the tree looks like. It's not under any stress by the ornament.
Getting it up there takes some patience and lasso-like skills.
You just kind of wing it around until you let her go and it flies up and over the top. It took me, a half dozen tries to get it where it is.
While last year's big red ball disappeared after a few days, this one appears to be anchored firmly in place.
Hopefully the Grinch doesn't find this one.
Kearns doesn't plan to go over the top or channel Chevy Chase's character anytime soon.
It doesn't need anything else, unless I could get a big blue blanket to go around the bottom, of course.
Maybe it just needs a little love.
A classic Christmas connection, spreading a little love to his family and community. Matt Woodman, CTV News, Edmonton.
When we come back, another contract extension for the riders, and later the most popular names for your pet dog.
All right. righty, time to take a look at our rural forecast. And as you can see, we've got ourselves some cold temperatures as we head towards the eastern side of the province. On the west, not much warmer. As you can see, minus 14 in Kindersley, but it's not snowing on any of these icons, so the snow will have stopped. That system basically, by the time we get to tomorrow morning, it should be into Manitoba. In fact, well into northern Manitoba, northern Ontario. Across the province, though, there's still some warm conditions down towards the southwest. -2 in Maple Creek, -8 in Leader and East End area. But then, as we make our way eastward, temperatures do drop off, and there's a bit more sunshine in other places, and some than others. And that sun-shining skies, well, not so much for Hafford. Hafford looks like it's going to be partly cloudy, winds out of the southeast at 20, -18 degrees. So certainly that -18 will feel a little colder with that southeasterly wind. And just a reminder, you have until tomorrow to make your votes for the Christmas display contest in Hafford, and the winner will be announced on Friday. And Hafford is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
SaskPower is reporting an outage affecting multiple communities south of Saskatoon. The outage was reported in Hanley at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's affecting all surrounding rural areas, including northwest of Kenniston. The company says crews are investigating the cause and the repair time for the outage. As the federal government begins the process of cutting 28,000 jobs, several departments will begin notifying public servants in January if their positions are on the chopping block. Shared Services Canada, Public Services and Procurement Canada, Employment and Social Development Canada, Global Affairs Canada, and Statistics Canada tell CTV News that employees will get notifications next month. This comes after Natural Resources Canada says 700 employees received letters this month to inform them their position will or may be impacted. The federal government hopes the job cuts will save $60 billion over the next 4 years. And with 1 week to go until Christmas Eve, Canada Post says it's ready for the holiday rush. Strike action disrupted the busy period for the Crown Corporation last year. But last month, Canada Post and the union representing thousands of its mail carriers agreed in principle to new contracts. The deadline to send Christmas cards nationally is today. The deadline to send packages by regular mail nationally and regionally has already passed, but pricier options are still available to get items to their destinations by Christmas. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have extended the contract of Canadian running back Thomas Bertrand Houdon for another season.
Knocking on the door again for the Riders. Handing off. Bertrand has one touchdown. He has two.
In a backup role, Bertrand Houdon had 166 yards rushing and 38 yards through the air, scoring 2 touchdowns, both in the season opener against Ottawa after A.J. Ouellette left the game with a concussion. The Quebec product has been a Rider since the team selected him in the 4th round of the 2023 draft. Coming up, the most popular chosen names for your pooch. Then the extravagant Santa.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television, starting tonight at 7 with The Floor. Well, a list of the most popular dog names for 2025 has been released. DNA My Dog says for females, the top 5 are Bella, Daisy, Luna, Lucy, and Maggie, followed by Lily, Mabel, Nala, Olive, and Piper. Meanwhile, for male dogs, it's Charlie, Bear, Milo, Buddy, and Cooper. Then Gunner, Hank, Henry, Max, and Murphy. DNA My Dog is sharing some insights as well, saying vintage names like Mabel and Hank are making a major comeback, as well as nature-inspired choices like Daisy and Lily. They also note short and easily recognized names remain popular, especially if you're trying to actually train your dog. You have a rule about dog names.
Well, I thought it's not like I made it up. I had heard that 2 syllables is what you want.
Yeah, but you're kind of
well, I think exactly, but you know, my 2 favorite are Hugo and Georgia. There you go.
Wonder why. All right, before we go, a massive inflatable Santa has become a local attraction in Timmins, Ontario. Take a look at this.
I was just Googling stuff one day and I come across small Santas, so I Googled world's largest Santa and he came up.
There it is. Mark Letourneau's lawn ornament stands 12 meters tall and cost him about $2,500. Mark said he did this to bring joy to his community over the holiday. Hopefully it's not too close to those wires.
Exactly. Because they'll get electrified and then come to life and Santa marching through the neighborhood.
That's neat.
It's very, very impressive. There's no question about it. The storm, pretty impressive considering it's the first real wallop we've had this winter. But let's take a look and see what we've got going on tomorrow if we have time. Just very quickly, we're anticipating a lot less in the way of precipitation, but staying cold.
Yeah. All right. Be safe out there. Thanks for watching.
Bye now.